This is your girl StygianSis. I have with me the wonderful Rhea. Hi, Rhea. How are you?
I am awake. That's as good as you get.
Hey, some days that's the best accomplishment. I got up.
Yeah, exactly. Like, conscious is all I got for you.
Absolutely. So this is a new thing. I do technically have one more episode of this that I did before. Can't even remember what it was about, but who cares? Whatever. So this is a new segment, new podcast that I'm going to be doing where basically it'll have kind of a format of we introduce whoever the guest is for that episode. Then we talk about some updates in the like the Final Fantasy VII world, if there's like an interesting new interview that's just come out, or something like that, or if there's updates in the games, and I'll give you some updates that are going on right now in the mobile games. Any news, like if we get news about new trailers or anything like that as far as part 3, that's what I'll lead in with that. A little fandom tea for time to time. And then we'll
yes,
jump
because the tea is hot.
piping. And then we'll jump into the topic of the day. So the topic of the day today is the Lifestream Scene. This has been quite the buzz in the last month,
Yeah.
because everybody wants a piece of that Lifestream Scene, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Now that this
they
too
do.
is in full focus, what are the two scenes that everybody's talking about? Lifestream Scene and Highwind Scene. And guess what? Cloudy Fest in both. Okay, so now
Yeah,
everybody wants a piece of that cloudy pie. Yeah, so
Exactly.
so
And I'm sorry, I'm greedy. I'm a glutton. I ain't sharing my damn pie. Y'all can fight me.
And look, Cloud ain't about to share his first night with Tifa with no. Well, first of all, he ain't sharing Tifa with nobody, much less any night.
Damn right, not.
He ain't sharing nothing involving Tifa.
No, he is not.
He was ready to kill the item shop owner just for looking.
Right?
Hey, if you
just
ever
like,
need me to fill in, he was like, "What the hell ever you say? You ain't about to
And
fill
the
in for
thing
a
is,
damn
the
thing."
thing that I love most about him is just that even when he like kind of doesn't want to do the thing, he will not let anybody else do the thing. Be like, what? Excuse me?
And
She asked me to sweep the floors. I'm sweeping her floors. I take care of that. You ain't doing nothing.
And look, I'm gonna need Tifa to start getting a bit of that energy too, but that's a discussion for another day. We'll talk about it on another day.
Yeah, we go. That is its own discussion.
Because I don't care what people say about Cloud. He is too nice of a guy sometimes. He really fucking is.
He is, and I think part of it ultimately, what it boils down to is he's learning from those around him. And the ones that are closest to him are other women that, unfortunately, Tifa, being a people pleaser, it's rubbing off on him.
Yeah,
so it's just like,
yeah, he really, and it just shows he really is experienced. But honestly, he's doing a solid job, really, because there are men who have a lot more experience and a lot more years in dating that would have failed every test that came his way. You know what I'm
exactly. Because the thing is, Cloud doesn't know if he wants to be like the girlfriend that is, and it's just like, baby boy, I love that you want to be the girlfriend, the one that does the kiki, the one that does like, oh, you want to do the weenie roast? I'm ready. Let's do that.
But you got to understand, don't let nobody put you in no trick bag, as Star Jones would say. Okay,
exactly.
You got to understand, you are a hot commodity.
Exactly. And unfortunately, good men are hard to come by.
I mean, everybody with a heartbeat in this game coming after Cloud. And like I said,
that's why I swear
he stayed
he's
loyal.
Got like pheromones.
So anyway, speaking of being loyal, we're gonna get into this stuff. But before we get into that, let me start out with
hi Nightmare.
And hi Nightmare. So hello everybody. Hey Kiara, love you girl. How you doing? KT. Tofu Cat, Charles, thank you everybody who's joined so far, and everybody who has not commented. Feel free, just happy that you're here, and all the people trickling in.
Don't worry, we will give all the love to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now
we're very loving people.
And by the way, the topic, we actually will be reading from a great thread that Nightmare did. I will link it in the description of the video when I post this again. So this is the live chat, and then I'll do a cleaned up version and repost it again. And so I will be linking Nightmare's great thread on this. So we will actually be reading through that and just discussing. All right, so real quick first. Let's see. Let's get rid of... Hi, Red. Hi, Nanaki. Or Nanaki.
No.
It's Nanaki.
Nanaki.
Yes.
I've always struggled with which A I'm supposed to put like the stress on. Thank you for solving this for me.
Nanaki. Thank you.
Nanaki. Just my baby.
Yes. And by the way, Tifa Week 2024 is trending right now. I love that.
Yes.
And speaking of speaking of updates, in fact, let me throw this up before we get to this cloud. Let's see. Because Tifa's birthday is coming up next Friday. Happens to also be my dad's birthday. Happy birthday to both of them.
Yes. Tifa. And it's in Mermaid, so I'm expecting some mermaid Tifa, okay? For me. Me. I am your mermaid. Give me my mermaid with Tifa.
Mermaid. Okay. I did not get that for a moment. I was like, I don't know what she's talking about, but I'm going to let it go. So that's hilarious. So we have
mermaid.
We have hashtag Tifa Month 2024. It will be May 3rd, 10th, 17th, 24th, and 31st. Okay, so every Friday this month is a new theme. If you go to Cloud Tifa Events on Twitter, you'll be able to find all the information for it. That starts next Friday. Really excited for that. And if you'd like to join the Discord that this comes from, it's called Under the Stars. I will also put a link in the description for Under the Stars Discord. So we're really excited for this event. We're going to be celebrating Tifa's birthday all month, and especially with the release of Rebirth, we have so much more to get me excited about.
So much.
Yes. All right. So in other news, FFVII has been on a cloudy fest recently. So they just released this Avid Children, extra content for Avid Children. And let me tell you something. We Cloudies have been going wild about this. So we got all this new Cloud and Tifa art. There's one in particular that we have been crazy about. And look, there's even like a billboard on the
hopefully it'll still be there when we get there. I'm just saying.
I hope so. Yeah, we are going to Japan this year, so I'm really hoping that I will be vlogging
the whole thing.
Yes, and
yes, I'll be vlogging the whole thing, making sure to get all of Stygian's good angles. Don't worry, I will be the best camera woman on the planet.
Hey, look, we're both content creators, and we're gonna need some stuff for our channel, so we're gonna be going ham.
That is true.
They also
I'm gonna have like a body cam tucked in, be like. Bust view.
They also made this super sexy hot new art with Cloud and Tifa on Fenrir, and it is a recreation of the what happens inside of the movie, in fact, when Tifa jumps on Fenrir as they go to save the world. So
again
yes, again,
save the world again.
All right. Now, in Ever Crisis, we have new gear that has just come out. They have a new event.
Finally!
Yes, and we have Tifa, Battle Angel Tifa. It's called Feather Style.
Yeah, they lean very heavily
into Yes.
Yeah, I've been like alternating between Tenyo and Valkyrie.
Yes.
In fact, I finally finished the Valkyrie Tenyo bracelet for her, along with a freaking earring.
Yeah,
so I'm probably gonna put them on sale.
Girl. Rhea has a store. I'll be linking that in the description as well. Yeah, show that feather. Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
Yeah,
so
there we go. Ooh,
there's the feather earring. There's the version with the Swarovski crystal.
Oh, hey, she has absolutely awesome jewelry. I have a lot of it. Yeah, y'all have got to get your hands on it for real.
Don't worry. Yes, the ones with the Swarovski crystals are limited edition because these teardrops don't exist anymore. So the regular feather will always be available, but the Tenyo teardrop with the Swarovski crystal, get it while you can because it's going away.
Ooh, all right. We're going to have to do that. All right. And also they have released Zack. His is called the Glacier Armor. Oh, I might want to start the video.
I call this Saiyan armor, okay? I'm sorry. It looks like Saiyan battle armor. Y'all can sue me.
Yeah, not crazy about the breastplate thing going on. It's just a little, I don't know. It just it ain't quite working.
Well, we're used to his tit. We're used to it being suns out, tits out with Zack. Okay? We're used to
maybe I'm just
Antidian, and now he's gone all conservative because I don't even know why. Bring them out. You got to let the air vents out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the less the better when it comes to the sexy man of Final Fantasy.
What
So
I will always say, Zach is Final Fantasy's darling. In general, all Final Fantasies, he is the darling. Baby boy, I will climb him like a tree so fast. So fast.
Hey, look, don't even get me started, huh?
Says the woman wearing a freaking Vincent collar. Like, yeah, I'm not faithful.
Hey, well, we got to be. I don't have a ring on my finger, do you? Just saying.
Well, actually, I do kind of have a ring on my finger.
Well, that's true. All right. Well,
I do have
I just
Fenrir
called
on my
you out.
finger.
Never mind. All right. She has Fenrir on her finger, and they're just okay. All right. We're going to let this one go. All right. So, to the main topic. So as I said, Lifestream Scene is hot right now. Hold on. In fact, while I'm talking, yes, don't mind me. Here we go. All right. So, hold on. What did I put? Okay. Let's see. Boop-de-doo. There's lots of Tifa. Lots of Cloud and Tifa. Here we go. Now, so Lifestream Scene. Now we, almost have to designate names because we have the Tifa Lifestream Scene and then we have the OG Lifestream Scene. So
yeah.
For clarification, I will say OG Lifestream Scene.
Honestly, I was leaning towards Lifestream teaser because that's really what it was. It's the sample. It's the appetizer.
Lifestream.
It is the sample before the real thing. Wait, so
say that again. Lifestream what?
Damn, I lost it already. Like the Lifestream sample or the Livestream.
No, but you said you're gonna call it Lifestream what?
I forgot.
Tifa? I don't know what you said. Oh, okay, all right.
No, I was gonna.
You forgot it that
fast.
One second. All right, I'll task you after. But yes, so
it's a Livestream sample. That's what it was.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm going with Livestream Tifa or something. Yeah, just for clarification. We're mostly going to be talking about the OG Livestream, but we will be tying in some elements related to the Tifa Livestream portion, the Rebirth Livestream.
Livestream teaser. So, thank you, Nightmare. I would forget my own name if I didn't.
Teaser. Okay, thank you, Nightmare.
Livestream teaser.
I thought you said Livestream Tifa. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. Livestream sneak peek, yes. Hello, Tominess. Sorry, I'm terrible with names. So,
if it makes you feel better, I forget my own.
So, yes, I'm going to go through Nightmares. I'm just going to read it. And then we'll kind of go section at a time here. And as we have thoughts, we will go through them. Again, this is just part one because we will be having subsequent episodes related to the Lifestream Scene and podcasts in general related to the Lifestream Scene. There's so much to unpack. It's impossible to do it in one unless you're sitting here for 5 hours, and I'm not doing it. So
I love you guys, but I can't people for 5 hours.
Yeah.
You gotta have mercy on my soul.
All right, so let's get started. And just forewarning, clearly, of course, anyone's welcome to listen, but a lot of this may not necessarily make sense if you don't know the OG Lifestream Scene. So I'll kind of explain some things as I go, but really, if you're not sure, if you just haven't played OG, you have no clue what I'm talking about, just I'll try to explain as best as I can, but there's a lot that you really just have to play it or at least watch. I recommend, at the very least, just watching a playthrough on YouTube if you don't want to be spoiled. And if you don't want to be spoiled, then you really just don't need to listen to this in general, to be honest. There's a whole lot that's going to be spoiled.
Plus, you've had 30 years. You've had 30 years.
Yeah, so but just forewarning. All right, so let me get started. No one but Tifa can help Cloud regain his true self in the Lifestream Scene. No one, only Tifa Lockhart. She can't be replaced in the scene, and no one can join her or help her in this scene. This scene is for her and Cloud alone, and there are reasons for this. So right off the jump, Nightmare's on point, and so for Cloudies, we, look.
There are two camps with us. There's two camps.
Okay.
What I found is there's the camp that Tifa will, because as history has shown us, Tifa will do the whole thing. Whereas there's another camp that to expand on the Lifestream Scene within Remake or within the Re-Trilogy, that she will have help. I'm not completely 100% against her having help on the peripherals, it would be like fringe help. Maybe she's going to have like, she's going to have like, I don't know, a ghost or a shadow of Zack and Aerith off into the ether, giving her power so she can fight Sephiroth's shadow. That is one camp. Whereas the other camp is like, nah, she got this. She don't need no help. She don't need no man. She don't need nobody. She got this.
Yeah, and this actually goes to a point I had been thinking of is, I mean, and we'll go further into it, but I think it's very important to understand. One, Tifa's not the reason that, like, the way the live stream scene literally happens, Tifa has nothing to do with. I'm saying the mechanics of it. So it's really answering. So it's really she's got to take care of doggo. So to bring it from Tifa's side as to whether or not, you know, she needs help getting into Cloud's head, that's not what was happening in the first place. And a lot of this misconception comes from Maiden, who travels the planet. It has been abandoned to exist, and I have nothing against Benny Matsuyama. I know this man could not have possibly imagined that people 30 years, 25, whatever years later, will still be quoting his stuff as if it means more than the actual damn game. But that's really where this idea comes from. If you actually know the OG scene, what happens is Tifa and Cloud fall into the live stream. She's crying out to Cloud because she doesn't know what's going on, and she's hearing these voices. She's like slowly kind of losing it, and she's screaming for Cloud to help her. And then next thing she knows, this is occurring. Like, she's in Cloud's mind, in Cloud's subconscious. She didn't actively do anything. Now, Maiden attempted to answer this question, but they answered it in the wrong fashion, because who was motivated to do what was not correctly addressed. It was Cloud who was trying to pull Tifa into his mind to in order to save her, to keep his promise. This is mentioned in the Highwind scene, and of course he knew the only way to save them both is to have her help him piece himself together. So despite the fact that his biggest fear was Tifa's rejection of meeting his truth, like acknowledging the truth, which is that he never was a soldier, and then him also giving his love confession, basically like, hey, you know, because she asked him directly, like, why did you want to become a soldier? And so we'll get into all that, but this was all about Tifa. So this isn't a party. This isn't, hey, we having a block party. We having a block party. Anybody want to join? This is Cloud's subconscious. You want to talk about an intimate thing. See, that's what people want to happen. They want Cloud and Tifa to be having a moment, and then people just come crashing into the conversation. Hey, where's the drinks at? What's going on? That's not what's happening. Okay. So what I was saying, Rhea, is the question that people are trying to answer is the wrong question. How did Tifa get into Cloud's mind? How does Tifa find her way into Cloud's mind?
Yes.
It is Cloud who pulled her into his mind. This is all Cloud's doing. So Maiden was trying to answer the question, and I don't fault him for trying to answer it, but I do fault him for not knowing how the hell it happened in the first place. Like, watch
exactly, especially since it was said so clearly. It was said so clearly within the context of how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I think part of it was a biased telling, and also he himself said he didn't remember. He didn't go back and replay. Yeah, exactly, he didn't remember.
Exactly. So there's fault to be had, but I digress. If you actually just watch the scene, how it unfolds, one of the weapons attack, they fall into the live stream, Tifa's screaming out for Cloud, and then next thing she knows, she's in his mind. So I'm not against the idea that someone needs help, but first off, Cloud is going to be the one that needs help, if anybody. Okay, he's the one motivated to save Tifa. He's the one who would rather face his biggest fear, which is Tifa's rejection. If she finds out, because in his mind, he's always been down on himself, and he's always thought he's not good enough in general, much less for Tifa Lockhart, who was, you know, if you're talking about Aladdin, she was the Jasmine of the village.
Exactly.
You know, and he was, you know, she's the princess, he's the pauper, like it's super Jasmine-y. I mean,
Yeah,
even
they're
down to
very
down to
Disney.
the blue genie that helps him become the prince he wants to be. But then, you know,
Exactly.
the illusion falls. Well, like it's super
Exactly.
Aladdin.
Like people,
Okay.
like here's the thing. Also, is just that a lot of the fandom, especially our subset or our section of the fandom, we always praise how realistic their relationship is portrayed, but at the same time, they do still hit all the Disney
Absolutely.
story beats, and it's just the reason why it's so successful even now is because we still love that. It's nostalgic, it's comfortable,
Absolutely.
it's homey. So that's why we still love those story beats.
So yeah, it's not that Cloud is like, oh, it's not realistic. Like, you know, because you know, I understand people's appeal with Claire. You know, I don't agree.
I don't like it, but I understand it.
They have a lot of these little tropes that they can play off of, but the problem is they don't lead anywhere. They're shallow. They're, you know, like
exactly.
You get the Cloud. Let's see, like, well, hell, I can't even. You know, like the thing with the, you know, peppy girl and.
Basically guy. The peppy girl with the emo kid.
Yeah, you know, and she, you know, it's like, and she melts his heart, blah blah blah. You know, I get that people like that dynamic, and I like it in some stories like Dragon Ball Z. You know, but yeah, you know, so like, but it's just, but the difference is with Cloudy, they have a lot of these Disney princess, you know, fluff tropes. But there's so many more layers to it and it's not because there's something, you know, inherently wrong with the character of Aerith or the character of Cloud and her to get, you know, it's just that Cloud and Tifa stories are so intertwined and they are written for each other.
Exactly.
Like, Cloud and Tifa is the love story. Aerith is a distraction to the love story. That's all she is. She's a plot device to be drama put in the middle of their you can think of it like Girl Interrupted. This is relationship interrupted. There's always something, whether it's Sephiroth, whether it's Tifa's dad, whether it's the mountain incident, there's always something that's interrupting their story. And so Aerith is just another interruption in the story. She was never meant to be an in-game anything. So yeah, so
exactly.
Anyway,
I think to that point, and Tolmanis, I'm sorry. They bring up the point that with Cloud and with Aerith and with how everything is portrayed, Aerith it's not so much that she's just a plot device and how
no.
And but the appeal of Clara,
she is a plot device.
Yeah,
and the context of Cloud and Tifa's relationship specifically.
Exactly.
Yes.
But within the context of Clarith itself, there is an appeal also for the interloper. So I touched on it maybe like a couple days ago.
And this will tie into what we're getting at, by the way. This is tying into the Lifestream Scene. Yeah.
All right, Tal, you are my hero. We're gonna go with Tal. But ultimately, I touched base on it on how, at the end of the day, the human race, we're romantics. If you look at every culture, we love the idea of true love, where your partner is your everything, where you don't need to have other intimate partners. Even when you consider our poly versus monogamous or what have you, we are all romantics. We want that one forever person that they fit you like a glove, a custom-made glove that they're made for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's why I don't think that they're going to change that trope, because it is such a comfortable trope because of how romantic we are as a species.
Mm-hmm.
But with Aerith comes another counter to that trope. So some people do want the story where a relationship is broken up by this interloper, because it's one contra to that trope that is so beloved. It's almost like a fetish of like, ooh, we get the cheating spouse with the
like
nanny.
There's just like you can be as in love with somebody as you want to, but there's somebody that comes by that's just so magical and just
that can like cartoonize
that you'll abandon all feelings you ever had for anybody else, because they're just that great that in 3 weeks they've just changed your entire life.
But here's the thing about that trope. Usually the people that carry that breaking up a relationship trope, one or all of the people involved are an asshole. We want the person getting cheated on to suffer because they're an asshole.
Yes, exactly. But, this is like
or the people, the interloper.
Hairspray.
Exactly.
Yeah, where
exactly.
Sorry, we're going to tie this back in, but yeah, it's like Hairspray, where like it's that, or you think about just the. I always make this analogy with this LTD. The way people, a lot of people who want him to be with Eric feel about Tifa is she's that popular girl in school who everybody just loves for no reason other than the fact that she's hot. I mean, this is how they view her. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. They view her as a bully. They view her as
and
so just like, I'm sorry,
Eric is that shy girl with the glasses on. That's the nerd. She's into science and whatever, and she's always like the main dude. But he only has eyes for this girl until she does something fucking crazy, and then he's
taking off her glasses.
No. Well, there's always that scene, just like that. That's why they adore the red dress scene, because it's that type. I mean, it is that congeniality girl trope.
Yeah, she was beautiful all along.
Yes, and they really think like Cloud, even though 30 seconds later he totally changed the subject back to Tifa, doesn't give a damn. They think that's really what's happening in Cloud's mind. Okay, when it's just literally parodies on Hollywood movies. That's what her three dresses are. So anyway,
the over exaggerations of these tropes.
Yeah, and so speaking on that, to bring it back to this, they think that because Cloud has captivated her heart or something. I mean, I'm sorry, she's captivated his heart, that somehow, and because she's a Cetra, somehow she can help Cloud in this situation. Here's the problem. There's a lot of logistics to this. This is one issue. Eric don't know him. She's on him 3 weeks. She literally cannot prove it's Cloud. Okay? She can't prove it's the real Cloud to him. Because it's not even just a matter of being able to prove it's real Cloud. It's, will he believe her that he's real Cloud? It's two parts to that. So it's one thing for her to, she can show him whatever the hell she wants to show him. But a big part of the reason this works is Cloud trusts Tifa so much. And more so than himself a lot of times.
Exactly. If she told him the sky was green, he would be like, okay, I must be colorblind. Yeah, the sky is green.
Yeah, so he's like, yeah, it looks green to me. So that's a big part of it. He says in Northern Crater, it doesn't matter what anyone else says to me. It's what you say. It's only what you say matters. So yeah, and he prefaces that with saying, sometimes I'm not even sure I am, blah blah blah, the stuff that he says in Gongaga. So yeah.
Exactly.
That is a big part of
it. That is a big part of it. But also it's just like, not even Zach could do that, because Zach knows Soldier Cloud, right? He understands, not Soldier Cloud, but Grunt Cloud. Yeah. The Cloud that enlisted, the Cloud that is outside of the social sphere, that had him be a pariah within his own village. He doesn't know why. He doesn't know why Cloud did what he did. He doesn't know what motivated him. The only thing
he can say is that he came to there was a boy named Cloud that was at Shinra, and that person went to Nibelheim with him. And there's a lot of blackout moments for both of them. He can't even necessarily prove the person that was in the tube next to him was the Cloud the entire time. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of gaps
Zach probably couldn't even assure everybody that it was him. He's probably some Westworld nonsense.
He has
Cloud, you don't know.
And this thing, there's no pictures of any of these people anywhere. The only person, yes, you can say Emilio, and we'll get to that type of stuff too, because Emilio would recognize Cloud. But again, if it's a clone, it looks exactly like him. How does he know?
He doesn't. But more importantly, and Emilio was so focused. He wouldn't
believe Emilio if he was Emilio, the guy I hated the whole time. Yeah, I'm gonna believe him.
Exactly. And furthermore, why would Emilio want to help Cloud when he was trying to? Yeah, he was one of the main contributors to ostracizing him.
But even if he wanted to, Cloud ain't gonna believe him. He ain't gonna believe a word.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. And in all honesty, if it was Emilio and not Tifa, Cloud wouldn't want to come back.
No. And why?
He completely shut down.
What's the point of that? Because people have been floating these insane ideas. It's going to be Emilio. It's going to be, and now the conversation has evolved, but it was going to be Emilio. Oh, it's going to be Claudia. Eric's going to conjure up Claudia's ghost and have him talk.
Exactly. Now, and here's the thing. While I'm not 100% against finding the spirits of the departed, that as part of his chain of memories. Yes, that's a Kingdom Hearts quote. Don't judge me. But ultimately, it's still just a chain of memories that he is connecting himself to through having that realization with Tifa. Like, he can't connect to anybody without her.
Yeah.
And part of it is ultimate. And while she is humble, she's extremely humble. She won't take credit because, yes, at the end of the day, Cloud had to put himself together, which he does for her. She's not fixing him. He's fixing himself for her.
Absolutely. Exactly. It is. Tifa's at the heart of it because Cloud, all of this started because Cloud is in love with Tifa. He wanted to impress her. So,
and more than that,
it has to be Tifa for that reason.
Exactly.
That is the primary reason it has to be Tifa.
Exactly.
No, whether he remembers the Nibelheim incident, they start with Cloud remembering the Nibelheim incident, and it didn't work. That's not, or like them trying to piece that together until he accepts his true self, and she accepts his true self to him, tells him that it doesn't work. Anyway, go ahead real quick, and then we need to go through the rest of this.
Well. Gotcha. But ultimately, what I was going to say was, we have to remember that when Zack died, Cloud broke because he lost everybody else. Everybody else was gone. So he was a black robe. And then he put himself together when he saw Tifa. Because up until that point, she was gone. He had no reason to live. He had given up. He had given up on life. He was a black robe.
Really, he had given up. He had given up before Zack died, too. I mean, honestly, he was just
he did.
Of a person.
He did, but Zack was that last tether to reality. And his body was still going through the motions. It's almost like somebody in a coma. Their body is functioning. It's alive,
like
but
a vegetative state.
He is not there. But then he finds Tifa, or Tifa finds him, rather. And that's the end of it. That, like, he puts as much of himself together as he can against this alien entity in his head. He is still fighting it to be Tifa's Cloud. And nobody else could do that. Nobody. Even with the bonds that he has now. Even if, for whatever reason, he was able to fall in love with Aerith in 3 weeks, or fall in love with Yuffie or Barrett or Nanaki or whomever within that 3 short period, it's still ultimately
3 weeks.
Her.
That's never.
Everything is for her. And the thing is, like, you can fall in lust with people. He didn't, but you can fall in lust with people that long. But if somebody thinks you can fall in love with somebody in 3 weeks, they need to get their head examined.
I mean, look.
I feel very strongly about that, actually.
In general, I don't believe in love in 3 weeks. Now, look, I'm not saying like you know. I mean, we get that this is fiction at the same time, though.
Exactly.
They're accelerated timelines. I get that, but Cloud Strife falling in love with anybody in 3 weeks, that is not a thing. I'm sorry. But anyway, we'll continue.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I could go on a whole spiel about breaking down tropes and the bad things that can be attributed to it for people that can't distinguish reality from fiction, which is its own discussion.
Whew, yeah.
But like,
all right. So setting. Okay, so next part. Setting. The scene takes place in Cloud's subconscious. The life stream is a place of shared consciousness, and by falling into it, Cloud and Tifa are able to share one another's. But because they're alive and not dead, Tifa is lost when they first fall in and calls out to Cloud. So I went through that. Whose subconscious finds her and lets her into his mind where she will be safe. For that to happen, Cloud has to allow Tifa into his mind, which is a person's most vulnerable and intimate space. I'd like you to ask yourself, how many people in your life would you allow into your own subconscious, even in the most dire of circumstances? This involves an incredible and extraordinary level of trust. We know that Tifa is the person that Cloud trusts the most. There is no evidence to suggest that he has that amount of trust in anyone else. So, and this is what we discussed. Yes, Cloud trusts her entirely. And so the quotes that come up here are, no matter what anyone says to me, it's your opinion that counts. And then also, you've been so good to me, I don't know what to say. Yeah.
This man was willing to risk treason for this woman, for the equivalent of a sandwich, because she said, hey, I've got this thing. Do you want to do this thing? And he's like, yes.
Like, legit.
Whatever you want, yes. Like, I don't think people fully grasp what he was willing to do for this. He would have given her everything.
His kidneys, his lungs, of a mountain when he was 9 years old.
Twice!
Trying to save this girl. He joined the army. Do you understand what it means to join the army? You are willing to lay down your life And he didn't have any guarantee. He didn't tell Tifa beforehand. Like, he told her he was going to join the army. He didn't say, my expectation when I come back is that you're going to marry me. Which was clearly, if you're thinking about a place like Nibelheim, a traditional village. Sorry, nose itching. If you're taking a place like that, he's going to the army to become a man. He's going to the army to be able to learn how to protect and become, you know, somebody who's lauded.
Yeah, his idealized version of masculinity.
When he makes a soldier persona, it's his ideal version of himself. He came. Now this is speculation, but it is speculation based on, frankly, just some common sense and knowing the story. Cloud's intention would have been to marry Tifa when he got back.
Yeah, right. Yep. Because they would have been popping out babies the minute he got home.
Yeah, like, where do you think it would have ended? Hey, so I went to the army to impress you. I became a war hero. And sorry, there's a hair. I became a war hero, and I come home. Hey, I became a war hero. Oh, that's great, Cloud. Anyway, friends, see you later. Like, that's not what was going to happen.
Yeah,
he would eventually courted Tifa and married her. That was the intention.
Part of it was he wanted to be this idealized version of a man so that Tifa's father would accept him when he asked for permission to court.
To marry, because he would have
not just asked for permission to marry. He would have asked permission to court her.
Mm-hmm.
Because he would have
gained Brian's trust. That was a big part of
exactly.
it.
He wanted Brian to accept him as worthy for Tifa. Because Brian is very protective of his baby girl. Because he's a dad. So. He's a proper dad.
Rightfully so.
And like, not father, dad. He is dad. And dads will always want the best for their daughter. And Cloud wanted to be the best for Brian's daughter.
Absolutely.
And so his version of masculinity did require that he become this idealized version of strength that, yes, propaganda said, hey, join soldier, this is how you become a strong person.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happened to Zach as well. I mean, when you think about it,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know, like they sell the stuff like, you know, woo,
yeah, the propaganda machine.
They make it sound sexy when in reality, you know, war is war. Yeah, but
anyway, war is war. Like, war is traumatic. War is hell.
Yeah. So,
but it was still his idealized version of how to be Tifa's perfect man, her perfect partner, so that he could be the one that protects Tifa once Brian steps up. You know, like
absolutely. And
passing the daughter to be the wife kind of thing. Yeah. Yes, it's old fashioned.
Yeah, it is old fashioned, but we're just talking about it is a traditional village.
Exactly.
I mean,
it's a very traditional
when
village.
Her mother died, the women stepped in to teach her how to sew. That's the reason she's such a that's the reason she's such a housewife, such a trad wife, as people say, such a wife.
Yeah.
Is because she lived in a traditional village. So, yeah, she learned how to cook. She learned how to clean. She learned how to sew.
And there's nothing wrong with these traditional...
There's nothing wrong with that because, nobody's... Like, she was taught the things, but, like, it wasn't like Brian was running around forcing stuff on her. In fact, Rebirth goes out of the way to mention that, you know, Brian did a lot of the cooking in the house.
Exactly.
You know, like, it wasn't a matter of, oh, you're the woman, you got to do everything. It was just, that was, you know, yeah.
Exactly. But it's still very much that there's nothing wrong with having traditional values. I will never slander anyone for having those traditional values.
I love to cook.
No, like, well, I like cooking when I don't have to cook. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's just, at the end of the day, it is a traditional traditional village. It is values that have been instilled on her. Unfortunately, for both of them, unfortunately, however you want to look at it's still part of their formative years. So they will still carry these ideas. It's very hard to break that programming that you're born into.
If you look at having children, it's the same. Cloud goes out, even though they're both working. Cloud goes out, makes money, comes home, helps take care of the kids. He's wearing an apron, for God's sake, so he can help Tifa out in the bar. They live a very quiet existence. You know what I mean? They're just other than the picket fence and the dog, that's the existence that they have.
Technically, they do have the dog. I mean, Nanaki, he's both a cat and a dog. They got
I suppose if he wanted to move in, he could, yes. But yeah, they just
and also if our headcanon of Vincent moves in.
You know, if Eric had lived, I think her and Zach would have traveled the world. Cloud and Tifa ain't looking for all that. They like, look, we've had enough excitement for a lifetime. We just want our quiet little existence.
Exactly, like
they're home to our family and be chill. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, like they're happy. They've done enough living They're
I
okay.
mean, and they'll do more living in the future, but they're
exactly. But they've done enough of that kind of excitement. They done.
Yeah.
Like I can guarantee you, the minute the world is in danger again, they just be like, "Hey, Vincey, you got this one?" Because I don't want to.
Well, that's pretty much Dirty Cerberus right there.
Exactly.
Just like handle it until he couldn't.
Just be like, "It's all you, boo boo."
Yeah. But yeah. So So he trusts Tifa that deeply. Yeah. So it's that shared history and that longing he's had for Tifa his whole life, plus just, she really has been good to him. Despite these ridiculous claims that she bullied him his whole life. Like, who the hell joins the army to impress their bully? It don't even make any sense. Okay, so like
it really doesn't. And the thing is, yes, it can be argued.
I always had love for Tifa, and she has proven herself to be,
she's always been good to him, and it's very hard. She's very easy.
Fall in love with her because she's an asshole. Like, that doesn't make
exactly. And well, like there is some yumminess to that trope. I mean, goodness knows I'm a hardcore Bakudeku fangirl. Like, I'm okay with that. But at the end of the day, Tifa is very easy to love, and she made it very easy for Cloud to fall.
Mm-hmm.
And she has done nothing to make him not love her.
Yeah, especially like coming back as adults, and you see the chemistry between them, and you see just again how good she is to him. She's feeding him for free. She
making sure he's home,
gave him room and board. She's helping him get connections around town. She didn't have to do any of this for him.
Exactly, she didn't have to. And the thing is, it's just so when you consider the fact that Tifa has abandonment issues, that's one of her flaws that she is actively working on. She is afraid of being alone, but she is not. She is the kind of person that puts the needs of others first to her own detriment. But in this instance, Cloud is very aware that he is being given the tools to leave if he wanted.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's choosing to stay.
She doesn't want Cloud to go, and she makes that clear. She asks him multiple times, "Hey, you planning on leaving soon?" But Tifa also isn't desperate. If Cloud doesn't want to be with her, I mean, that's the thing with having children. Marlene knew she was being stubborn. Like, she didn't know why he left, and she wasn't about to go chase him. And
no, she wasn't. If he wanted to stay, he was going to stay on his own.
Yeah, and her heart was broken, but she was like, "Look, if he don't want to be here, he don't want to be here." She didn't know she didn't know that he had fallen ill of jail.
Exactly. She didn't know that he had a contagious disease.
Had to kick her in the ass. She's like, "Bitch, if you don't go find this man."
Sometimes you do need straight from the mouth of babes. Sometimes that's all you need. I mean, but the thing is, Cloud is not going to be.
Yeah, Nojima exactly. Like Cloud, like, Marlene was old enough to talk, and she had some things to say.
Yeah, like she is the queen of getting things her way. But the thing is, it's just like Cloud is not going to lay in bed with this woman with a contagious disease that literally will be transmitted the minute she has doubt in her mind. Okay, like that's like no.
I mean, we're just coping because the real love story of FF7 is Cloud went to a church to be with his dead lover, who also is his best friend's girlfriend, and he wanted to die so he could fight it out with Zack in the afterlife for Aerith, who he knew for 3 weeks. That's the real love story of FF7.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Chris. All right, so purpose. Why does the Lifestream scene even take place? There's 3 reasons. Uncover the truth of the Nibelheim incident, prove Cloud is the real Cloud that existed before the Nibelheim incident, rebuild Cloud's identity by getting him to accept himself and his weaknesses. Very true. We've gone through that. So the first 2 purposes, however, are unable to be accomplished without the last. We can't uncover the truth of the Nibelheim, and we can't prove Cloud's existence or memories until we resolve the issues at the core of his identity. Which brings me to, and so the pictures here, it connects to Nibelheim. That's right. It's probably best to start from there. Exactly. So as we mentioned, yes, remembering the incident is part of the puzzle, but it's not like just simply remembering that it was Zack there. Because basically that's what Sephiroth shows him. The genius of Sephiroth is he gives him mostly truth. But then
that's what makes him such an effective
lie. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. I mean, you want to, and this is just lying. You want to tell a convincing lie, base it in a lot of truth. It's going to be much harder to tell the difference. Okay.
Except here's the thing. They actually touch on this in one of the side quests when you're in the Dust Bowl or in the bowl underneath the gold saucer. Mm-hmm. One of the missions is you're helping a con man, and you're trying to like help his students with perfecting their con. And if you listen to his dialogue, he's literally saying the best cons, most of it is coded in truth, and the lie is in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. So and honestly, that I have not seen this, but that feels very Sephiroth. That feels like some Sephiroth foreshadowing for real.
And it was, and it was also because, unfortunately, especially more so now than previously, unless the story is fed to us in bite-sized nuggets that we don't have to do any of the work for, it will go right over a lot of our heads. Unfortunately, that's where a lot of exactly.
Don't put me in
I know it ain't us. But on a macro setting,
I got you.
If it's not like fed to you in like these little microbites, and they do all the work for you to feed it to you, you're going to miss that. So we do have a lot of side dialogues and little side events happening to kind of give you those little bites. I mean, they're not doing all the work for you of like shoving it down your throat.
Yeah. But
they're doing their very best to be like, okay, this is what's happening. Just pay the fuck attention. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you good. I've said fuck at least twice. Whatever. Yeah, and that's another thing. So like Jesse, the whole thing with Jesse's dad and how in that story that they tell about Jesse's dad's soul being trapped between the living and whatever.
Exactly. That was literally telling you what's going to happen.
Coded, absolutely. So you get those little nuggets. A lot of those side quests and stuff like that, and those little subplots, like they are very coded into what's to come. Absolutely. So to say something about this again real quick. Rebuilding Cloud's identity. Yeah. Remember the Nibelheim incident really isn't the point. Like, what does it do for Cloud to remember that? Okay, so I was a grunt. I wasn't. Again, now Sephiroth didn't tell him he was there. I mean, yeah, and that's important to, he ended up with the
that was the lie.
But at this point, Cloud is broken. This isn't a matter of, Sephiroth comes back, sorry, you were actually there as a grunt. I just, like, that's like, he has completely broken him at this point. So you have to rebuild him from the ground up.
Exactly.
Nibelheim incident is, like, one of the last things in the rebuilding.
Hang on a second.
Yeah. You good.
Melly, don't be a fucking bitch. He is allowed to be there. You know what? Come here, Google.
You good. All right, so,
she thinks she's a Great Dane, so I'm just going to hold on to my Moogle.
Okay. All right.
I ain't got no cash on me, so she can't rob me blind.
Mm-hmm. All right, so which brings me to memories. Cloud has 3 core memories that must be reconciled in the Lifestream Scene. The Nibelheim incident, the night of his promise with Tifa, and the Mount Nebel incident after Tifa's mother died. Each of these memories is tied to the purposes of the Lifestream Scene that I mentioned above. However, they cannot be reconciled until the final or earliest childhood memory of the Mount Nebel incident is reconciled. This is why the game forces you to confront that moment, why Tifa says that these memories are not enough. These memories are not enough. So talking about the two, about the promise and the Nibelheim incident. So the order in which it happens is they started with the Nibelheim incident, then they go to the promise, and she realizes this isn't helping. So she's like, we need to get at Tifa. See, Tifa's a smart cookie, okay? And I love how they
extremely intelligent.
Yeah, they show her intelligence so many times in this game. It's just it's amazing. But and they show even more traces of Two Paths and then like Rebirth and stuff. She is clearly the brains of that operation going on. I mean,
yeah, clearly.
The other characters will be lost as hell. And Tifa's like, hey, there's a sign right there that tells us exactly what we need to do. I mean, this happens like 3-4 times. I'm like, okay.
It does. And the thing is just like, everyone's so ready to smash their way through.
Yeah.
Whereas Tifa's are like, the sign's right there.
Like
the instructions are right there.
Even Rebirth with the chocobos, like, everybody's goofing off like, oh, so how do we find the chocobo? Blah, blah, Baron and Aaron's are goofing off and stuff. And Tifa's like, hey, why don't we just follow the tracks? Like, okay, can we get this over with? Like, what? Okay.
Yeah, Tifa definitely, and the thing is, also, this kind of feeds into her humbleness. She doesn't, I don't think she fully realizes how smart she actually is.
No. I mean, they showing Trace of two paths, you know, she's seeing this and how much debt she's in, and she's like, okay, I can make these amount of buns to sour, blah, blah. She's doing all this calculus in her damn head. You know?
Exactly. And she's like, and at the same time, she's saying that she's not that smart. Like girl, I'm a bookkeeper. I deal with finances. And I could not do in my head what you did without like a lot of paper and a spreadsheet.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so, and then it says, Cloud, what about your other memories? So Tifa realizes we need to go deeper. Now, again, let's stop here. Tifa knows him. She's known him since she can remember. She has memories. That's how long they've lived by each other her entire life. And it doesn't matter if they were painting nails together. Like people's idea of closeness. And I think even Cloud and Tifa don't realize just how close they are. And you actually see this happening, you know, because they say multiple times, like, I guess we weren't that close. But then you see how well in tune they are with each other. And when they know just how to calm the other down when there's something going on. Or just the right words to say. They have all of these moments where they're sharing stuff out of Nibelheim. Tifa remembers that Claudia's pot roast was the best. I mean, just random, you know. Remembers a dress that she wore 7 years ago, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly, which, let me just say, if a man remembers what you wore that long ago, he is in love.
He is in love with you. Okay.
Just never question it. Never question him about it. He is in love if he remembers that far back. What color dress you were wearing.
I can't remember what I wore last Tuesday, much less what
I know what I was wearing last Tuesday. Nothing.
Yeah, I'm in a robe, I guess. I don't know. Depends on if I'm working at home or not. But
right.
You know, yeah.
Exactly. So
it's just like, remember that level of detail, like yeah. Okay, so so yeah, she knows him, and she's like, okay, we need to go deeper. Zach would not know how to do this. They wouldn't know what to even mean to go deeper. Wouldn't even know the right questions to ask. You know
exactly. Like he doesn't know that Cloud was bullied.
Same with Eric. And they would have no way of being able to verify anything. That's another key component here. They can't verify that any of this stuff happened. If he says the name, you know, Mona Me or Brian or they're not gonna know what the hell he's talking about.
Exactly. They don't know who the fuck those people are. And more than that, it's just they can only verify his identity up to a certain point when it's just like that's like well after the trauma
if Cloud
established.
Needs proof that he's the real Cloud from 3 weeks ago. Eric's your girl. Okay?
Exactly.
She can tell him exactly what he was doing on December 9th, the night of December 9th. Okay?
Yeah. Looking at freaking Tifa.
So if he needs to know what he did the night of December 9th, Aerith is your girl. If he needs to know anything before December 9th, she can't do nothing about it. Okay?
Exactly. She can't. She can't. And Zach is like maybe as far as what? When do they meet? Like 7 years ago? Like maybe closer to 8 years ago. Like 7 years ago? That he can't go farther than that. He doesn't know that Cloud was bullied. Cloud is not going to announce to the world, "Hey, I was bullied." To a bunch of
Cloud didn't even tell him that he was in love with Tifa, or that he even had crushed.
Exactly. Like, Zach turned out to be smart.
Yeah, Zach figured it out because he's not an idiot.
Zach is a lot smarter than we give him credit for.
He may give crush on Tifa. It didn't take much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like here's the thing. Zach, he's got major himbo.
Well, I'm just saying that Cloud was only opening up to a certain degree. His feelings for Tifa are his, you know, tender memories and his feelings for Tifa are sacred. He don't just run around telling people, I'm in love with Tifa, you know.
Exactly. So while everybody else can see it, Cloud is still very protective of it.
Cloud really thinks he's slicker than he is. I mean,
and the thing is, like,
like, fool, he's like, come on now, you ain't fooling.
It's like, who are you trying to fool? It's the cutest thing, and then everybody knows. That's why when people say, "Oh, so and so didn't know," or "So and so, how could they?" And I'm like, everybody knew.
Mm-hmm.
The freaking store owner knew. Yuffie and Kate Sith knew. Everybody knew.
Yeah, I mean, Yuffie, for God's
sake. Yuffie. Granted, I do have a high opinion of Yuffie.
She is highly intelligent, so yeah, I mean, she is far beyond her years. I like that they have this. I mean, we're not gonna get into this, but yeah, she's far beyond her years. Okay, so when trying to first use to restore Cloud's identity, so which brings the most important part. Okay, so basically, Tifa's realized they need to dive deeper. They can't just simply, like we said, simply knowing that Nibelheim is in an order promise is not going far back enough. So she says you must find the answer yourself. If you can't, then. And then, so feelings. The memory of the incident on Mount Nebel is tied to Cloud's personal feelings for Tifa, which is tied to his personal weaknesses. Tifa is hurt on Mount Nebel, and because he could not save her, Cloud both internalizes and publicly takes the blame. Cloud begins to center, and then the pictures here. We both fell off the cliff, so this him, I was so angry at myself for my weakness. But the Tifa, the story, and this is part of Trace the Two Past, because Tifa starts pondering, did Cloud really do this stuff? What everybody's saying he did. But to Tifa, the story didn't add up. For as long as she could remember, Cloud hadn't wanted anything to do with the Four Fiends as a group, almost as if out of principle. Why would he suddenly tag along with them on the mountain, to the mountain? On the other hand, Tifa had never spoken to Cloud about the incident, and he'd never tried to refute the other boys' versions of events. As a part of her felt that Cloud had been trying to protect her, as if he'd stepped in to take the blame so she wouldn't have to. But why would Cloud do that? Surely he had a reason. There had to be something more concrete than his indifferent claim of I don't know. And I want to bring this up because a thing that people, to touch on part 3, a thing that some people are worried about is they've given too much away already. This is not something that's been addressed. She remembers that he went up that mountain with her. She does not remember. I mean, I'm sorry. She remembers now that he went up that mountain with her, but they still never had the conversation of why. Why did you follow me up the mountain?
Exactly.
So
and also, she's been in a coma for a bit.
Yeah. And she lost half a year's worth of memories, according to the Japanese and the French, I think. Yeah. She wasn't out for half a year. She was out for 7 days, but she actually lost a huge chunk of memory. But the point is, she doesn't remember. She didn't remember that he was up there, but now she does. But she never knew. He never told her why he actually did it and why he took the blame. They were never able to address Senningan Gaga. That is something that's going to be addressed in the traditional Lifestream Scene.
Exactly.
Because it's going to be, the big thing is going to be from Cloud's perspective this time. He's going to be answering all these questions to Tifa to help her to explain why he did all this. This is a love confession. This is a confession.
Exactly.
This is a confessional. Do you go confess to just random? You know what I'm saying? Like when you when you need to confess to God, you go to the priest. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to make an analogy here. Like the point is to confess to God. It's not to confess to some random dude on the corner. Like it's like with this, telling Aerith or telling Zach or telling anybody else doesn't do anything to absolve Cloud of his guilt in him. You know what I'm saying? Of his need to tell Tifa the truth. It doesn't do anything for him to tell some rando that he just I mean, God bless her. But I'm just saying, she's a stranger. What does it do for him to tell her or anybody else?
Exactly. And also, like, even Tifa doesn't really know his motivation. She was there and knew what happened.
She needs to know. She didn't know. To hear it from him. He wants to tell her.
He wants to tell her. He wants to confess to her. And even if he did, and like, do I think Cloud and Zach could have had that conversation if they were allowed to live that long? Yeah, I think so, because Zach is a very trustworthy person that makes you feel safe. So he would very much be a good person to confess to. But even then, what could Zach do in the face of the actual memory of the actual event?
But again, it misses the point. So like when you tell your girlfriends like, "Oh, I got a crush on this guy," blah blah blah. Is that the end of the story? No. Well, okay, I told you. So I'm done. No, the point is ultimately you want to tell that person.
Exactly. Eventually, you're going to confess to the person.
Yes, you want something
like you can
with that
confide.
Person. You're not going to be satisfied with just, "Hey, I told you so." All right.
Exactly. Like you can confide in a confidant, but at the end of the day, the confidant is just so that you can kind of like let a little steam out of the pot before you actually make that big leap.
I'll give you a perfect example out of Rebirth. I'm sure. I mean, Aerith and Tifa have had conversations about this. When Tifa says, "I think it's a little more complicated than that," she clearly has picked up on the fact that Aerith has feelings for Cloud. And she knows why. they've had conversations about this. Now,
Exactly.
I don't think
They've
it was a
discussed it.
direct like, "Hey, I'm in love with Cloud, and yeah, you're going to step out the way because he
Yeah.
reminds me of my man boyfriend." I don't think it was that
Aerith may
direct,
lack tact, but she ain't that
yeah,
tactless.
she ain't that crazy. Okay.
Nah, she.
So, but
I don't think she.
but if
she
she keeps mentioning how much Cloud reminds her of Zack, and they must have been friends, and she keeps asking like, were they friends, blah blah. She's asking all these targeted questions, and Tifa knows that Zack was her first love. It don't take a rocket scientist for Tifa to figure out like, hey, she clearly. So, but what does she do? She confesses to Cloud on the gondola what she's been feeling. Every time I look at you, I see Zack, you know.
And
it wasn't
Cloud
just your
took a
and it's deeper than that. She says it's not your clothes and stuff like that. It's you who remind. It is you, because the you that is Cloud that she knows reminds her of Zack.
Exactly.
You know, that's
and what
she
Cloud
needed to confess to him.
Exactly. And Cloud, he takes a page out of the girl playbook of just skirting right around that to avoid complication or avoid complicating the relationship. It's like when somebody you're not into, but you're just their friend, they confess to you, and all of a sudden just like,
we've all been there.
We've all been there. More so girls than guys, but I'm not saying it's guys off.
That happens to guys too. It happens, but yeah,
it does happen to them. It's very common.
I know the exact position that Cloud is in.
Yeah, it is not a comfortable position.
And he's
especially
in a gondola. He's literally a captive
like,
audience.
He can't escape. He's a captive.
Okay, we're gonna go back to this. He just remembered, and when I condense this, we'll be taking out these little. But he just remembered Zack. He just remembered Zack is head over heels. And now he realizes what he's, you know, why Aerith has fixated on him so much, and now he's sitting in his trapped in his gondola, and she is spilling her guts out about the, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, he's just like,
he's a captive again.
I'll hold your hand. I mean, it's not gonna go any further than a handhold, but I'll hold your hand, girl. I mean, you clearly going through something. So
exactly,
anyway.
Exactly. But it's still very much she did confess. She confesses to him twice, and each time he skirts around it, because while he does love her, he's not in love with her, and he doesn't have anything to confess to her. Like, they're done. Like, they reach the sudden but natural conclusion of the relationship. And in most situations, if it wasn't for like this journey quest thing, then they could just part ways, because that's what most sane people would do when somebody confesses to you and you say no. But it's not like they can separate.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's a very complicated relationship, because they are on a journey to save the world, and she is.
Yeah,
like,
they
what
can't
is
just
supposed
like
to do? This isn't like some Tinder or like a friend group where you could just part ways and then just, you know.
Yeah, there's no ghosting.
You can't avoid each other. Well, I mean, one might argue there's a bit of a ghosting. I'm sorry. That was wrong.
We're
wrong. I'm sorry.
We're cutting it because that would get us into trouble.
It hurt. My face is still swollen, so like it hurts to laugh. That was hilarious.
Oh my god, that was perfect. Sorry. That was beautiful. Right. You know what? Hey, even if you cut that from the total, make that a reel.
Probably not.
We're making that a reel. Yeah, we're going YouTube short.
Yeah. All right, so that's going somewhere. Trust me. All right, so,
definitely.
So yeah, So again, back to this. Cloud begins to center his need for approval and his shame at weakness on impressing Tifa and gaining her approval, which leads him to make the decision to join Soldier, which in turn leads him to ask her to the water tower, where he makes a promise to her. Cloud's failure at joining Soldier exposes his own personal weaknesses, which is a fundamental truth that Cloud's false persona is attempting to hide from himself. Exactly. His false persona is predicated on Cloud not accepting himself, but rather building in a weakened and traumatized state an identity that lives up to his ideals and ignores the shame and weakness of that childhood incident that he hopes joining Soldier would correct. Cloud has to accept that he is not the soldier he thought he needed. He is not the soldier he thought he needed to be to impress Tifa, so that he can accept himself. To do that, Cloud needs to know that Tifa accepts him for who he is. That is why, in his most vulnerable state, his subconscious, Cloud not only allows Tifa into his mind and reveals the truth about the day on Mount Nebel, but reveals his feelings for her. So let's stop there. So perfect. I mean, succinct way of putting it, a lot more succinct than what I've been rambling on. But yes, exactly. This is all rooted in his feelings for Tifa.
And him being able to accept his feelings and express his feelings.
And this is not anything that Tifa, because yes, the village blamed him. She never said an ill word to Cloud about this mountain incident. She never blamed him. Even if that
she never did. She's not going to call him a liar.
Yeah, even if it had happened the way that he said it. You know, Tifa has enough, even as a kid, you see in Traces 2 Past, she is far beyond her years as well. Like, she realizes whatever Cloud was trying to do, it was not malicious. Whatever happened, Cloud would never do anything to hurt her purposely. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And the reason it never sat well with her is because it doesn't make any sense why Cloud would randomly bring her up a dangerous mountain for what? It doesn't make it makes no sense.
Exactly. She has a very high opinion of Cloud, which is very easy to have a high opinion, at least as far as I'm concerned. I am biased though. She has a high opinion of him. And more than that, she, even as they grew apart in their youth, she still trusts him. Like, she still has affection for him. And she still realizes that even with that distance, like, I really do like that guy. And I'm in love with him.
Well, and again, people don't understand what closeness really means. And again, and that's a story for another day, because I could talk about these two as well and what they understand about closeness. But
exactly.
In one part of Rebirth, she says, "You remember you always used to stare at me, blah blah blah," and it's kind of a cute moment.
Yeah, because they're into voyeurism and exhibitionism, but that's just me. I'm sorry.
What they don't, what people aren't realizing is the only way she knows that Cloud used to stare at her a lot is if she was also noticing him.
Yeah, she was looking at him as much as he was looking at her.
So,
and I don't think neither of them
always were aware of each other. And now this is where some clerics will say, well, Linda in Ultimania says that she didn't notice when he walked out the house that one time. Okay, one time she didn't see him walk out the house, therefore she never noticed him. And
because she was busy crying.
And then Yes and Omega, I think in Cloud's profile, it says something like she didn't notice him until, but that's from Cloud's perspective is how I read that. Exactly. And then just an OG, honestly, there was a lot that's just, you kind of have to take the totality of stuff, not just individual lines in there, because with so many cooks in the kitchen and stuff, and then it's not even like the devs themselves. You have to look at what these books say, put them up against OG, put them up against the compilation, and see what actually makes sense. And then when you see the clarifications, and that's what Traces of Past does, it clarifies. It fixes some of the messiness, it clarifies. That is the version you go with. There was a lot of issues in general with the storytelling of OG, not just this particular thing. But people who are people who are maliciously motivated want to nitpick things here and there, and that's why you ignore people like that.
Exactly, because the thing is, you can't really blame it all on Square Enix, the translation team. I mean, we can blame a lot of it on them, current stuff, but as far as back then, they were on a time crunch. Okay, the game was released late.
It was too many cooks in the
kitchen. They had to.
It was. Yeah. I mean, you had people working on the game in certain areas and didn't even know the didn't know the climax. The climax was live stream. Like, so these are known problems with OG. And again, another reason why they wanted to make the compilation and why they were dying to make a remake trilogy in order to clear up these misconceptions. Yeah.
Exactly. And in addition to that, it's in a vacuum. You can take an individual soundbite, an individual snippet, a screenshot, just like a small snippet, and you can spin it any way you want.
Some might say whole ships are built off of doing that, but I won't.
Exactly. I mean, goodness knows that we've all got that one crack ship. But at the end of the day, what it really boils down to is if somebody wants to, we can make anything look good or bad. I can make anything look toxic if I was motivated enough. I don't have the motivation to do so.
Yeah.
But if I so chose, and let's say you gave me like a debate, and it's just like, hey, I need you to argue for or against the pound of flesh and the friggin' merchant. I forgot the word.
Yeah.
But it's just, I can argue why him receiving the pound of flesh was a good thing. I can argue that. However, what it really boils down to is you have to look at the culmination of the whole. You have to look at all parts. And all parts are showing that hey, from his perspective, she didn't notice. But from her perspective, he didn't notice. Mm-hmm. So
she thought that he was ignoring her the whole time too. I mean, like, yeah, they both had these. They both had at the. When I say they had unrequited feelings, they felt the feelings were unrequited.
Exactly.
It turns out they were requited the entire time, but they were always longing for each other, but not sure how to approach, because they did have a complicated relationship. Literally, the Kingdom Hearts booklet says that. So,
exactly, but also it's the only time they felt safe looking at the other was when the other was looking away. So, perfect example during the Cloud and Tifa date. Cloud is enjoying the opportunity to look at Tifa when she's not looking at him.
Yeah, she's talking about how beautiful the scenery is, and
he's looking at her. He's just like, huh, scenery, what? He's enjoying this moment. He's allowing himself to look at her when she is not looking.
And it is the cutest thing when she catches him.
It really is. And the thing is, but the same thing happens in first when he doesn't think that she's aware of what's going on. Yes, in Rebirth, she is looking at him while he's declining in his mental health, but it's still she's looking at him when he's not looking. She's worrying over him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's still they do not give themselves permission to look at each other unless they're looking away, because it does feel voyeuristic almost. They feel guilty for being voyeuristic. Like,
I mean, that's just the nature of longing as well. It's a teenage dirtbag scenario because Tifa never quite, she thought of him as an unreachable star. She didn't quite feel good enough for him either, which I'm sure would blow his. Exactly. I think that's why he has that reaction when she says, "Am I getting?" When she says, "Am I getting ahead of myself again?" He's like, "Again, girl, I could have kissed you before. What the hell you mean again? Wait. That Steve Carell, like, hey, this is happening. That mean this is happening."
Exactly. Honestly, all I'm thinking is
on in Cloud's brain. He was like, "Whoa, wait a second. What you mean again, girl? Hold on now."
Exactly. Like, if she said, "Do you want it?" His pants would have like they had full magic might go by. Whatever you want, yes.
If they wanted, I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna keep going because we need to finish up because we already passed. But if Tifa, if we could have ended this in part 1. If Tifa had went to his room that night in chapter, or no, when she went to his room in chapter 4 that night, and some things that went down, his mind would have cleared up just like that. He'd have woke up the next day, oh my God, Sephiroth fucking with us. He ain't even alive. Let's go over to the door to
exactly.
I was never a soldier, girl. I don't know what I was telling about. Let's get on out of here.
Exactly. Like, he would have been fit in that first nut. Okay, he would have been fine. But no, the two of them are freaking doubting each other. So instead, because here's the thing, he was looking at her through her window, right? She knew he was. If she didn't want to, she could have easily closed the curtains. She didn't.
Well, they are kids.
I'm just saying. I know, except even then, if she didn't want him looking at her, she could have closed the curtains. She was okay with him looking. So,
okay.
I said what I said.
All right, we're going to let this go. Back to this. Oh, yes, Joker. Yes, Jazzy. I see you. So, yes, he needed Tifa's acceptance in order to accept himself. He didn't need Marlene's acceptance. He didn't need Barrett's acceptance. Sid, Kate, Sith. He needed Tifa's acceptance. Okay?
Exactly.
Wow. So, Tifa's acceptance and her support are critical for the entire scene. Once this understanding is reached, Cloud and Tifa can together uncover the truth about the past, restore Cloud's sense of self, and return home until their friends truly reunited. So the last thing it says, yeah, Tifa, we finally meet again. None of these things can happen with another person or multiple people in the live stream. Sharing memories of the Nibelheim incident or even being another childhood friend of Cloud's isn't going to work. Cloud's personal issues can't be resolved because he isn't going to share his deepest, darkest fears, insecurities, weaknesses, and desires with anyone. He won't even face them himself. He only allows Tifa in and only shares them with her because he is in love with her. It is her approval and validation that he's been seeking this whole time. And by letting her in, he is taking a risk by exposing this to her. He is also keeping his promise by keeping her consciousness safe during their fall into the live stream, so she does not succumb to Mako poisoning. And that's very important too, because he says this in the Highwind scene. Yes, there's two versions. He doesn't say it in the other version, but 99.9% of the time, whenever the Highwind scene comes up, as he brings up the Highwind scene, it is only the high affection version. Okay, I can only think of one place where the low affection version is ever recognized. Even just now in the FFVII update, Tifa says her famous line, "Words aren't the only thing."
They keep teasing us with that.
Today, in 2024, they are still using Tifa's high affection line before they had sex. It is the canon version, period, point blank, end of discussion.
Exactly.
And anybody who...
And the thing is, they're not going to have you doing that low affection.
It's just salty and know he's never going to have sex with Aerith, and they're upset about that, and I get that, but it is what it is. He's not going to have sex with anybody else either. He's going to be having sex with one woman his entire life, Tifa Lockhart. Yeah. I'm going to keep going. So, even in a weakened poison state, Tifa's voice reaches Cloud, and he keeps his promise. More proof, all he ever needed was to be his true self. And that's what's so powerful about Gungaga is she calls him a hero just being that 9-year-old that tried to help her on the mountain. She isn't looking for some grand gesture like that. You know, she isn't wanting, she just the fact that he stayed with her when she needed someone the most, that makes him a hero to her. Not the uniform, not the title, none of that. And so that is Nightmare said Genesis. He needs Genesis acceptance. They gave us a little sneak peek of what we're gonna get in the full Lifestream scene. Tifa's voice reaches Cloud, and he keeps his promise. All more proof that he needs to be his true self. That's who Tifa wants. As Tracy Tupac says, she fell in love with that ordinary boy. And we know from Tracy Tupac, Tifa fell in love with and admired the real Cloud, a normal boy with all his flaws and quirks. That's all she ever wanted. And so that, of course, nukes all the things. Oh, she only wanted a soldier. Well, you know what? We got proof of that's not the case even in OG, because when Sephiroth shows up and Zack shows up, she don't care. Okay.
Exactly. Like, the most you'll get is a brief, like, "Oh, wow, you're cool. Hey, do you know of any blonde guys?" Just go right into that.
I mean, honestly, unless it's something from OG, she didn't even say that much. In fact,
she didn't even say that much.
In fact, she was talking sideways about Sephiroth, and Christ was like, I don't get him.
Yeah, because
it sound like him. You know.
Yeah. Exactly. So, but ultimately, it's still very much she got one-track mind. She knows who she wants.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else
and
exists romantically.
And Cloud knows who exactly. So yes, I wasn't.
They are the ultimate monogamists.
Yes, and I wasn't saying Aerith. Literally, the only purpose in the story is her being a plot device. I'm saying in the context of the romance, of the canon romance going on involving Cloud, she is a plot device to cause drama in what's going on.
Exactly. Exactly.
Now,
and they wrote themselves into a corner with that.
Yeah, and now in the context of Aerith's love story, I mean, obviously it makes sense. It isn't like she's just some random chick and she just runs into it. It's like, we understand her motivation for wanting to be with Cloud. But when we're looking at who the canon couple is, she is a wrench. She's just another wrench. Just like Sephiroth, just like the mountain incident, these other things. She's just another wrench thrown into the middle of their relationship. That is what she is. She was never meant to be in game. And
more than that.
You know how you know she was never meant to be in game? Because she's not with Cloud at the end of the game. That's how you know she wasn't meant to be in game.
Exactly. But also, to something else to consider, Melly, do you mind? Another thing to consider is that it's character-driven versus story-driven. Character-driven, the two of them would be crashing together by disc 1. So we do need the plot devices in order to keep them apart long enough to get to the correct plot points.
Absolutely.
So unfortunately, when the characters are on one speed and the story's on another speed, you got to find a way to slow one of them down so that they line up. And that's why plot device is used so often with regards to the relationship, because that was her purpose there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, each of the characters has their moment of being a plot device within the context of the story.
And some context in the story, yes,
exactly. It's not a dirty word. It's not
even a negative thing. It's just like we're just saying
exactly. It's just the narrative tool
being used. Yeah. And
so in no way is it slanderous to say X and Y characters or events were plot devices to speed up or slow down the story.
Look,
same thing with the whole. Just everything. Like these are all so that the characters, because the characters have amazing chemistry. Their glow ups were freaking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The characters are now moving and talking for themselves.
I could just as easily say Zach to a degree. I mean, like in the specific context of how Cloud manages to get back to Midgard. Yes, they used him as a vehicle to get him back to, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But
like,
in his,
we all love Zach.
Story,
again, he's the darling.
But in his story. Yeah. Zach is going to Midgard to be reunited with Aerith. So, like, yeah, it's all about context anyway. So, yeah, when I say plot device, it's not meant to be slanderous or whatever.
The only reason why I felt compelled to, like, put that little disclaimer there is because, again, people can take that little soundbite and demonize you for that.
Well,
like,
you know, it is what it is. So, like, you know,
I know it is what it is. But at the end of the day, it's plot device is not a dirty word.
I have done more than enough defending of Aerith in the years that I've been a content creator. People can believe whatever they want to about it. I mean, it is what it is.
Like, people are going to think the worst of you.
There are people out there who are determined to hate me. It doesn't matter what I do. I don't care if I cure cancer tomorrow. They're going to hate me. So. Fuck it, whatever. You
cured cancer yesterday. What are you doing? Why are you lying, woman? You cured it yesterday.
It is what it is. I said what I said.
Okay. Exactly. It is not a dirty word. It is the fact of the matter.
We are having intellectual conversation here, okay? Like, we're fucking around and stuff too, but I mean, like when we, you know, as people, you know, we're both writers and we have some writing background. So when we use these terms, it's not, you know, if I want to talk shit about somebody, I know how to do it. Okay. I don't have to use fancy words to do it. I just tell you. When I don't use fancy words to talk about Lucretia. She's a bitch. Okay. I don't need no fancy words to bring up.
I swear to this, I will always say this. I want to slam dunk that woman into a chipper and then just jettison that wood chipper into the sun. Just burn, bitch, burn.
All right, so this is the last two parts. So this is Tifa's role. This is her story as the heroine in Final Fantasy VII, and this role cannot be interchanged with any other character. It cannot be combined with any characters, and it cannot be removed. To do so would completely alter the core of the protagonist's internal conflict. His journey and his motivation. And we already know that the compilation and remake are not only keeping this intact, but have doubled down on it. I know some of y'all are stupefied. A boy would do all this for a girl, but it really is that simple. Thanks for reading.
And you know what? It's not that outside of the realm of possible, even in real life. Some people do the grand gestures. I would sit them down and be like, you don't need to go that far. But some people just do grand gestures.
Well, people have love languages. Cloud's love language is acts of service, clearly. Yep. That's why he's
exactly.
I ain't gonna say, okay, right. Not gonna go there. But we
we all know he is a service cop. I'll say it for you. Okay, he is a service cop. He is a soft dom. He will his purpose in life is to take care of his woman.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what?
And he's been
as a woman that needs to be taken care of.
And they're you know, like from little kids and on, and of course, if you know somebody that long, your relationship, I mean, your dynamic and your relationships evolve. Obviously, the way that they were at 8 and 9, clearly is not going to be the way that they are at 24 and 25. We get that, but at the core of it, what's so great about Cloud and Tifa's relationship is we're closing out at this point. Great thread by Nightmare again. I will put it under. I have pinned this on my Twitter, so I will put this thread. Sorry, I'll put this thread under there so people who want to read it now can do that. And again, it'll be in the description of the video as well. What's so great is at the core is a pure innocent love between Cloud and Tifa. Exactly. It's not based on circumstance. It's not based on status. It's not based on convenience. It's not based on anything like it is. They've always liked each other. They've always loved each other.
Exactly.
And of course, as little kids, I mean, I use the word love because, you know, for lack of, you know, something simpler to say.
Love.
But
English language is very
loved
limited.
yeah, they loved each other before they knew what love was. I mean,
Exactly.
you see this moment where Thea is talking about Cloud. He has a face like an angel, blah blah, and Tifa finds herself smiling and she doesn't even know why. You know, and
Exactly.
she spends all this time with these other boys. These boys laud her. They do whatever she wants them to do. She doesn't even ask for anything from them other than tea party. But you know what I'm saying? Like, they would literally do anything she asked.
Exactly. I mean, it's not like there's a lot of kids to hang out with.
Yeah, but I'm
the village is going extinct.
Saying these boys come from, like, well, to do like Emilio in a village like that, being the son of the general store manager is a big deal. Okay, it's it's not a general store.
She had her.
It's the general store. Okay.
Yeah, she has her pick of the litter.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. Brian is sitting there trying. You know, Brian has this talk with the boys at one point, like, hey, you know, about Tifa, like, hey, okay, and, you know, because again, as we were mentioning before, in a town like this, 12, 13, not that anybody's getting together 12, 13, but like, they're starting to look at, you know, in a couple years.
Exactly.
I'm just saying we'll be in just a few short years. Because trust me, anybody who has helped raise a teenager or anything, them years fly. Okay, 5 years is nothing between 13 and 18. Okay, so yeah,
exactly. And the thing is, also considering
in a village like that, you're going to be looking for, who am I going to marry? You know,
exactly.
That's why all the boys leave. By the way, the boys leave to go to get their own money, to get their own status in life, and that's why Emilio says, "Hey," and writes to her and is like, "Hey, I'll come whisk you away." That was Cloud's intention as well, but he just doesn't.
Exactly.
He's just not so condescending about it, like Emilio, who's just assuming that Tifa needs saving. That's what she got pissed off about.
Exactly, because she don't. She really don't.
She asked Cloud to save her.
Because she wanted to guarantee that he was.
Yeah, and that's really what it was, and I don't even think she understood it at the time. She doesn't realize that she was just trying to find a way to tether herself to Cloud, to have some hope of seeing him again, because he was leaving, and she knows that a lot of people that don't leave Nibelheim don't come back. She wanted to give him a reason to come back, not realizing that he was coming back the whole time for her. You know,
exactly. She doesn't know any better, but the thing is just she wants the assurance that he's back. Mm-hmm. So she didn't know how to ask, "Hey, are you coming back? Promise me you're coming back."
Mm-hmm.
So she
doesn't know how to be that direct about it. Yeah,
exactly. She still doesn't know. We actually watch as she's evolving in the game of how she is learning to be a little bit more assertive for herself. She's always apologizing. Like there's a moment.
The most raw time where she just flat out says what she wants is in, ironically, the Tifa Livestream scene, when she softly says, "Cloud, please, I need you."
Exactly. She's admitting what she wants.
Yes, because she thinks she might be dying, and this might be her last word, and you know she doesn't quite know what's going on, and so she's in this
terrified.
really vulnerable place, and so she says what's in her heart. "I need you, Cloud."
Exactly, and more than that, up until that point, she's still apologizing just for existing. When they're in the Mithril Mines, you watch her correct herself from apologizing to have somebody help her to just being willing to accept help.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a big step, especially for people pleasers who apologize just for existing.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that we are watching her character growth, it's just not as overt as Cloud or Aerith or Barrett or any of the other characters. Hers is more subtle.
Yeah.
Because she's a far more subtle person. She is not as overt. Most of her character flaws are internal. They're reflexive. They do not do anyone else harm. They hurt her.
Absolutely.
So that's why it's very easy.
Which is why she's so lovable, but for Tifa fans also, it's a little infuriating sometimes when you see, because a lot of the other characters are selfish. I mean, you know, they're more outwardly selfish, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, look, I'm more selfish than Tifa. It's not malicious at all. It's just like,
it's not malicious. It's just the fact of the matter.
Tifa is to a fault. Like, it is to a fault.
Like, she would set herself on fire to keep other people.
and what I love about Rebirth, though, is they start, because she does have these moments, though, and I will give her this, you know, she does start to have these moments where she starts to fight. I always think of Beyonce's Listen. Yeah, like she's like, you see Tifa starting to find her voice when Cloud questions if she's the real Tifa. She's like, and you if you think about it, like the dynamic with Sephiroth, when Sephiroth questions whether Cloud's real, he starts to, or questions whether Tifa's real or not. Like, he's so susceptible to stuff because he never trusts his own instincts, you know?
Exactly.
Tifa's like, yeah, it's me, mother. Okay, like, yeah, it's me.
You know, she felt bad for putting her foot down. She's like,
yeah. She's like, I'm gonna need you to take it down a couple of notches because this is most certainly me. I know what happened to me. Okay.
Exactly. So it's just ultimately,
that's the black girl version of what was occurring in that scene.
Exactly.
Okay.
Fact. Like, honestly, I'll say it again. I think together, Tifa needs a Ratchet Hood rat friend that is her best friend.
And I'm willing to step into the play because let me explain something.
I'll do it too.
Let me explain something to you. Jesse, Eric, any of these other girls, these honey girls, none of these. Nah, that wouldn't happen. They would have. Jesse would have been snatched up. Minute 1, hour 1.
Yeah,
like
we wouldn't have to worry about plate fall with her. No, I deal with the problem expeditiously.
Yeah.
I would take care of my girls.
You can be as selfless as you want to be, baby. You go ahead and sit back. I got this. Don't worry about it.
I know, right?
I'm gonna get at you next, but I'm gonna get to her first. Yeah.
Exactly. No, we don't need to worry about plate fall. We don't need to worry about. Nah. I got you, boo. Don't worry, boo.
Look.
I might lock her Cloud at some point and just conveniently lose the key.
Oh yeah, that would have happened too. Yeah, a whole lot of that would have. But anyway, so yes, yeah, I love her fighting. But you know what? We're actually going to do a lot more talking about Tifa next week because it's her birthday and we'll be doing a birthday stream there. So yep, whoop.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so excellent thread by Nightmare. Again, I will link it on in the video. We will have a lot more discussions about the Lifestream Scene because again, we are now about to get to the climax of the story, as the Katase and I believe Nomura, they both called it the climax of Final Fantasy VII. That's why it's the talk of the town right now. Everybody knows the big scene coming is, and everybody wants a piece. Everybody wants a piece, and so we're gonna be doing the Lord's work out here. Speaking the cloudy truth out here, okay? Yeah, because. Right. This isn't a matter of shipping. You know, like, it really isn't a matter of shipping. That's what's so annoying about this conversation. It's a matter of fighting for the... You know, whenever you talk about Cloud and Tifa's relationships, like, oh, well, this is shipping. No, it's just the story. Like, what shipping is, people need to understand what shipping is. Vincent being in love with Lucrezia is just the story. If you like Vincent with Lucrezia, that is shipping.
Which we don't.
Cloud and Tifa being in love with each other and the core of the Lifestream Scene being about their love for each other is just the story. So I like it. It's frustrating because to me, there's this sentiment from people who, you know, there's a sentiment from some people who I feel like they feel like shipping is just like a dirty word. It's like a scarlet letter. Like if you're seen as acknowledging romance at all in the story, then it's like a dirty thing. But
exactly, you know, as if romance isn't one
to understand the story. Like anti-shipping is just as toxic as being a toxic shipper. If you are avoiding talking about quote unquote shipping at all costs or romance at all costs in the endeavor to be neutral, that's not any more respecting the story than if you are making everything that they have to do makes it like, you know, one weapon has some bluish tint to it, one has pink tint to it, so it must be Cloud and Aerith. That has no basis in anything. Like, you are just seeing things. That, you know, or, you know, I mean, it could be any type of, that was just the most recent example in my mind, so that's why I came up.
Right there with the blue baby.
You know, yeah, I see a blue baby on a vending machine. That must mean the Cloud and Aerith are going to have babies in the future. You know, it's like, what?
Exactly. Because here's the thing.
I'm sorry, just finish my point, and then I'll let you finish yours, and then we'll close out. But people... You don't have to be a Cloudy shipper to just acknowledge the fact that Cloud is clearly has been in love with this girl since he can remember. He has joined the army to impress her. He practically jumped off a mountain trying to save her. He killed a man, okay, to protect her and keep his promise. He made this promise to her and kept it 7 years later, blowing up buildings. He's willing to commit terrorist acts and risk a public hanging just to keep this promise to this girl. He's pulling this girl to his subconscious to protect. I mean, like, all this stuff. He builds a family with her later. You don't have to be a shipper to just acknowledge reality. That's all it is. Like, so
exactly.
What I'd like to see is a shift. Now that we are past this, Cloud has kissed Tifa. He did not kiss Eric. He didn't kiss anybody else. Tifa is clearly the love interest. We need to really move past this stigma of like, oh, we can't talk about shipping because, or we can't acknowledge that this is just what the hell is happening. That's where I worry that things are starting to take a turn. It's like, let's not, because object, and I got this from politics Twitter, and it rings true. Objectivity is not neutrality. Neutrality is not objectivity. Neutrality is one side says something, the other side says something. Well, it could be either one. Objectivity is no, the earth is round. It is not flat. Just because there's a lot of people saying that the earth is flat does not mean that there's any basis to it. Doesn't mean that there's any credence to it. The world is round. Period. That's objectivity. So I need to see a lot more objectivity happening. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. So in the literary world, and this is kind of why I will always go on tangents about how the education system is failing. Yes, you need to be able to have critical thinking and look at the symbolism within any literary work. But sometimes the curtains really are just, sometimes it really is just that. But we need to be able to, one, accept the fact of the matter, regardless of whether or not we like it. If we don't like it and it's really the end-all, be-all, then leave. No one is forcing you to stay. If you don't like the story, drop it.
It's fiction. Exactly. It's a video game. It's a hobby. It ain't that deep.
Exactly. Exactly. The way I look at it is this. Exactly. The way I look at it is this way. If it doesn't enrich you financially, emotionally, it's like, if it does not enrich you in any way, throw it away. Mm-hmm. It does not do you any.
Tana Greek knows that Claudia and Clarith is like the politics of video games. Absolutely. In the
exactly.
Fantasy VII fandom, absolutely.
Yeah, except here's the thing. I'm in very many fandoms. Like, you guys have probably seen me cross-posting with regards to, like, Black Butler and My Hero Academia and Jujutsu Kaisen. It's everywhere. It's rampant everywhere where people just want to put on blinders because they don't like XYZ. Like, Bakugo will always be a bully, even though you have, like, 10 volumes of manga that say otherwise. Mm. Or you'll have all of these instances where, I'm sorry, yes, Black Butler is a Shotokan. Get over it. Move on if you have a problem with it.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, we're gonna move on.
We will have that discussion because we will definitely have a discussion on. I know that's near to your heart about shipping in general. That would be a great discussion.
Yeah, because I
have somebody in mind who I would like to have in that discussion. We could do that on your channel actually, because I feel like you're a better vehicle to start the conversation. I'm not nearly as yes, I'm more of a shipper than I thought I was because mm-hmm. I've liked a lot of ships over the years, but I wouldn't call myself like an avid shipper either. I like Cloud and Tifa share a very unique space in my head these days.
Yeah,
I ship other stuff casually. I do not ship stuff the way I ship Cloud and Tifa. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. There are very few ships that I'm a diehard, and Cody is.
But I didn't even know what shipping. I swear I didn't even know the term shipping until I joined this fandom, mm-hmm. and I had no clue that there was ship wars. I was like, okay. Aerith's dead. He nothing happened between them. Aerith's dead.
Don't try me, Joker.
He has sex with
I'm
Tifa.
A Bakudeku.
He has sex with Tifa and like what's the conversation here? I was absolutely shocked. I'm still shocked. 4 years later, I'm still shocked. But regardless. All right, so I'm gonna read some. Oh, sorry. Let me let you finish your point, and then I'm gonna read some last comments.
Well, that really was ultimately my point. Like, it's just like, for example, I can. Up until Bragg pulled their nonsense, I could still enjoy Avatar: The Last Airbender, even though my ship lost. The only reason I don't deal with... Yes. I don't know, I still have my reservations.
You accept it. You just think it's dumb.
Exactly, but I still ship what I want to ship.
You accept it, you just think it's dumb. Yeah, I
very dumb.
Agree.
And it's just like, I ship, like, when I watch a shonen anime, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be a BL ship. Because a lot of the female characters are treated like beards. They really don't get any depth or growth at all.
And that is a pet peeve of mine now. It really is.
Yeah, honestly, it is a pet peeve of mine, and I will probably forever be a BL shipper. But here's the thing: at the end of the day, if the facts bother you that much, go away, leave. Nobody's forcing you to stay. The story is the story, and while shipping is part of it, because at the core of it, romance is at the core of Final Fantasy VII. It's not overtly, but at the very heart of it, it is a romance.
Certainly at the heart of Cloud's story, it's just like, so how Nightmare ended her thread. She said, "I know it." She's like, I know it stupefies people, but it really just is that simple. Cloud did all this because he wanted to impress a girl. That
exactly.
is what it is.
What it is. Like, I'm sorry,
really
every Final Fantasy game starts that way.
Like, yeah, there's a whole lot going on, but you have to understand, from the context of Cloud's story, all this other shit is just something getting in the way between him and his goal, which is
exactly. And the thing is, like, at the end of the day,
for Cloud's story, yes, he doing something. Yes, he meets all these friends and he saves the world and all that. But all of this is just like his end game is Tifa Lockhart.
Exactly. They are going to grow old and die together.
Getting in the way of what he actually wants.
Exactly.
That's
like
why
every
this
JRPG
Lifestream Scene cannot be with any rando off the street. It's not a block party. It's not a club. Okay. He's not just going to be inviting people in. There's not, there's not VIP. Tifa is the only one with VIP access. Okay, she's the only one with any access. He wouldn't even tell his own mom that think about this. He didn't even tell his own mother that he was in love with Tifa. He's gonna tell some people he just met. Like, come on. It's not happening. Okay.
Exactly. Like, I'm sorry, just about every JRPG starts with rescue this cat and then fight God at the end. Okay.
Yes, that is the way it happens.
That's JRPGs, okay? I'm sorry.
Cloud's story, there's a term for this, I forget, I can't think of it right now, but Cloud's story begins at that mountain incident. Notice they didn't go back before that. It wasn't about, my mom. Cloud's hero's journey, Cloud's hero's journey starts with the Mount Nebel incident. Okay?
That is his inciting incident.
That is, yes. That is,
in fact, if you were to get Campbell's, if you were to buy Campbell's novel or his book going over the hero's journey, you could quite literally plot Cloud's story. In fact, you know what? That's probably how I'm going to just format my series. Just be like, okay, we're just going to plot it against the hero's journey. Here we go.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, this has been fun. As I said, we will have subsequent Lifestream Scene discussions. It could be in this format with Fireside Chat. Likely the next one, I would just make a flat out podcast for the Lifestream Scene. But yeah. So hope y'all enjoyed Fireside Chat. Again, this will evolve in time because I'm still figuring out the details and stuff. But yeah, I had a lot of fun, Rhea. Been very nice. Thank you so much to Nightmare for the thread. It was excellent. And yeah, I will be streaming tomorrow night. I'll be streaming chapter 5 of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That is where you go on the boat that takes you to Costa del Sol. So we will be doing the Queen's Blood tournament. We will be doing, and then you get those you love and the speech and the Genova battle. It's it's gonna be a cool chapter, and so yeah, hope everybody joins me tomorrow night.
Exactly.
All
See
right.
you.
Y'all have a great Sunday.